Welcome back. Thank you once again for joining us today for this webinar. I'm Saloni from Acquest Advisors. We are an immigration advisory firm based out of BKC, Mumbai, having offices across India. We specialize in permanent residency and citizenship by investment for USA, UK, Canada, and European countries. Today, we are going to discuss about the immigration opportunities in Portugal, various investment options. We'll also discuss the legalities, process, and latest updates for Portugal Golden Visa program. We'll also have a Q&A section post the presentation. So I would request you all to put your questions in Q&A section only. We'll try and answer all the questions in after the presentation. After the webinar ends, you will get a review page. Kindly review your today's experience there. Today on the panel, we have with us our CEO, Mr. Paresh Karya. Mr. Karya is a chartered accountant with rich experience in the field of private banking, investment advisory, real estate, and immigration. I would also like to introduce Dr. Ricardo Loro, our senior lawyer. Dr. Ricardo specializes in the process of Portugal Golden Visa program. Now, I'll invite Mr. Karya to take us through the presentation further. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Saloni, for that wonderful introduction. And thank you, friends, for joining us today for this webinar. We really appreciate you being with us on time over here. And start with our presentation today. Let us understand what is the Portugal Golden Visa, and more importantly, what is European Union comprised of, and what are the benefits of getting a residency or citizenship in a European Union country. Right? So let's start with European Union. Now, European Union has been in news of late, and all of you know about, have heard about the European Union. So essentially, it's a political as well as economic union of 27 European countries who have come together and agreed to liberalize the borders between them to allow free movement of people as well as goods, so as to promote trade and culture between them. So you can see the list of 27 countries, European Union countries, which are mentioned over here. Up till now, UK was also part of European Union, but after Brexit, UK has exited and there are only 27 countries. Out of this 27 European Union countries, there are 19 countries which have agreed to share a common currency, that is Euro. So this 19 countries are mentioned over here, and this countries which share the common currency, it is known as Eurozone. And then we have the Schengen area. You know, most of you would have traveled to Europe and would be aware about the Schengen area or the Schengen visa. This is essentially a travel arrangement, a short-term travel arrangement between these countries, which allows you to travel on a visit, short-term visit to these countries on a common Schengen visa. Right, let's move ahead. Now, why are people looking at migrating to Europe? You know, one of the topmost reason for this is a quality of life. The European countries offer a very good quality of life. When you look at this data, the statistics over here, you can see that European countries score very highly in terms of quality of life, various parameters like life expectancy, happiness, paid vacation, maternity leave, time away from work, and also various other factors like healthcare, education, etc. So they are at par or ahead of other countries like US, Canada, Australia, and UK. Now let us look at the main benefits of EU citizenship. Like we discussed earlier, the main objective of this 27 countries coming together was to allow free movement of people as well as goods. So you can move freely in any of these 27 countries. You can live there, you can work there, your children can study over there, they can enjoy the education benefits. So if you are a citizen of Portugal and if your child wants to study in a university in Germany, he or she can study over there and enjoy all the benefits, concessional or free education, which a citizen of Germany will enjoy. You also have access to the national health care available across all these 27 European Union countries. It is also easy for you to start business in any of these 27 countries. Let's say you are in Portugal and you have a business over there, and now you would like to set up a branch or a subsidiary or another new business in France. So you can easily do that without any permissions. The other advantage which the EU citizenship offers is most of the European Union countries have a very powerful passport, and more so Portugal. So we will talk about the Portuguese citizenship and passport more in detail in the later part of this presentation. Right now, after having looked at the European Union, now let's look at the Portugal Golden Visa and why it is considered to be the fastest path to European Union citizenship. Right. So let us look at where Portugal is located. You can see over here in this map, right over here in the center, Portugal is located along the Atlantic Ocean on the southwestern tip of Europe. So this location is a very convenient location. Because of this location, Portugal enjoys a very moderate weather. The weather over there is fantastic. It's neither too hot nor too cold. And that is one of the reasons why Portugal attracts a lot of tourists from all over the world, particularly from northern parts of Europe. Also, if you see, it is located exactly between India over here in the right-hand corner and USA and Canada on the left-hand side. So it is also close to Africa and Middle East. And of course, it is a part of Europe. So it has a very strategic location with easy connectivity to the rest of the world. Let's take a closer look at Portugal. So here you can see, this is a map of Portugal. You can see it has a long coastline over here. And these are the three major cities of Portugal. Up in north over here, we have Porto. Porto is the second largest and the most prosperous city of Portugal. It is also known for World Heritage status, and it is a prime tourist destination. You have tourists coming from all over Europe and other parts of the world to Porto every year. So it's a thriving and a happening place. It is also known for its football club, FC Porto. For those of you who are football fans would have heard about the club. And it has a beautiful football stadium over there where football games are held. Thereafter, you have Lisbon over here, right in the center. Again, Lisbon is located along the coast. It's the capital city. It is one of the international commercial hub, and it has a good mix of modern living with ancient architecture. So you have also, Lisbon is a destination for luxury cruise in Europe. If you are walking down the street along the sea in Lisbon, you will notice large cruises docked over there. Right at the bottom, we have Algarve over here. Now, Algarve is a region, and you have other cities like Faro, Lagos, etc. over here. So Algarve region is known for its sunny beaches and beautiful weather. And it is again a very happening place. It has lots of tourists coming from all over Europe as well as other places to enjoy the weather as well as the sun and sand. It is something similar to our Goa. It has a lot of tourists, and it has very happening. It has nightclubs. It has a lot of golf courses again. It has more than 30 golf courses, and some of the best golf courses of Europe are located over here in Algarve. So all this makes Algarve a preferred destination for retirement. We'll see a lot of people buying property over here and retiring over there. Let's look at other reasons for selecting Portugal. We have spoken a lot about the Portugal's weather. So it has a very moderate weather. The maximum temperature goes up to 28 degrees centigrade. That's what we have in winter over here in Mumbai. And the minimum temperature, even in the winter, goes up to about 8 degrees centigrades. That's what we have in winter in Delhi. So this is very suitable especially for people from India who do not like very cold weather, in places like Canada, etc. So the weather over here is very, very moderate and suited to Indians. It also offers a very good healthcare facility. In fact, I was just discussing before this presentation with Dr. Ricardo with us how the country is coping with COVID, and I was surprised with the numbers that he was sharing on the vaccination front. He will talk to us more in detail about that in the second part of the presentation. Also, Portugal is a very welcoming country for expats. The Portuguese people, by their very nature, are very friendly and very warm. You will feel very much at home, especially Indians. India and Portugal has old ties. We all know that Goa was a Portuguese colony, and so was Daman and Diu. So the culture in Portugal is, what you find something in Goa. Goa has replicated the Portuguese culture. People are very warm and welcoming. And also English is very widely spoken in Portugal. So unlike other European countries like France or Germany, where you may not feel comfortable because of the language or other cultural issues, you can be very, very comfortable in Portugal. In terms of cost of living, we all know many of you would have traveled to Europe, and you know how expensive Europe is, especially cities like Paris, Munich, Berlin, Zurich, etc. So when it comes to cost of living, Portugal as a whole is very, very affordable compared to this other European countries. And all these factors make Portugal a perfect destination for retirement. There are a lot of people from UK, from France, and now of late from US who are looking at investing in property and also taking golden visa so that can retire in Portugal in future. Right? Let us look at the other reasons why one should consider Portugal. It has a very good education system. And like I said, English is widely spoken over here. Of late, countries like Portugal and Spain are also becoming an education destination. When we were talking to some of our clients, we were pleasantly surprised to know that some of their children have secured admission in university in Portugal. So Portugal as an education destination is picking up very quickly. Also, Portugal is considered to be the third most peaceful country in the world. Now, friends, you will know that this is a very important factor, especially in today's world. In today's world, there is a lot of uncertainty, a lot of turbulences, a lot of disturbances all over the world. We know what's happening with China, with US, with North Korea, with Middle East, Russia, etc. And it's times like this, it is very important for us to secure the safety of our family. And Portugal is one country which offers just that. Portugal has very good relationships with most of the countries of the world. And I'm sure you would have not heard about Portugal getting involved in any controversy or any troubles with any other country or with its neighbors. Also, the Portuguese passport is a very powerful passport. Like we mentioned earlier, the European countries per se have a very powerful passport, but when it comes to Portugal, it is even more powerful. It is ranked at number 6 in the world, and you would be surprised to know that the Portuguese passport ranks ahead of countries like US, Canada, and UK. Right? So, friends, let's look at some of the benefits of the Portuguese passport in detail over here. We have been having lots of clients who have been coming to us of late, especially in the post-COVID scenario. They have been asking us that we want global mobility, we want freedom to move. And some of them have been considering the passports of the Caribbean countries, right? Because some of these passports offer you mobility to more than 140 plus countries. And at the same time, these passports are available very quickly. You can get them in a short period of time. Right? But the important thing to note is that once you get a passport, which gives you, travel to 150 odd countries, it is important for you to see which all countries you can travel with this passport. So when you look at the countries, the kind of countries, most of these Caribbean countries will not allow you visa-free travel to, let's say, Canada or US or Australia or New Zealand. Whereas a Portuguese passport allows you visa-free travel to more than 180 countries. you can see in this map over here, all the countries marked in green are the ones, you have Canada, you have USA, you have the Mexico, you have whole of South America, you have South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, Malaysia, Singapore, name it. Most of the countries where we Indians love to travel are covered visa-free under this passport. So that's why the Portuguese passport is considered to be a very powerful passport. Right? So friends, now let us look at why Portugal Golden Visa is considered to be the fastest, not only the fastest, but also the easiest way to obtain European Union citizenship. The process is very simple. It is a program, it's a residency by investment program, whereby all you need to do is invest money in Portugal and you get residency. So you can see over here, the steps are very simple. Our lawyer, Dr. Ricardo, will be talking more in detail about this in the later part of the presentation. I will quickly take you through this. So all you need to do is invest either 350,000 or 500 euros in a property or property related fund in Portugal. You get a residency permit within a year. Thereafter, you need to stay in Portugal only for 7 days in a year. So it's not necessary that you need to live in Portugal after you have taken the residency. You can continue living in your home country, go about with your business and career, and just travel to Portugal maybe once a year and spend 7 days. It's like having a holiday over there. Right? After maintaining your residency condition for a period of 5 years, you have an option to apply for permanent residency as well as citizenship. And once you get the citizenship, you are free to sell your investment and realize your money. And all this while your money is invested in Portugal, you also earn return on your investment. So friend, in short, it is very, fast and simple process. What are the other requirements? So many of you may be considering other countries for residency, and those countries have a lot of requirements. But when it comes to Portugal, the key requirement is investment. So there is no age limit. Anybody at any age can apply. There is no language or education criteria. There is no business or management experience criteria. Some of you would have considered immigrating to Canada and would have realized that there are a lot of conditions in these two areas. Language, you need to give the English language test. You need to score certain points. You need to have certain level of education and experience. Only then you qualify for the PR. None of that is required over here. There are no detailed financial proofs to be given. Some of you would have been looking at EB5, and in case of EB5, you need to give a detailed documentation in support of your source of funds. Where have you got the money to invest? In case of Portugal, it is sufficient to prove that you have enough money. Your income tax return should justify that you can do the investment. Other than that, there is no requirement to prove where have you got the money from, like in case of EB5. Also, there is no requirement of any interview. You can start the process. The good thing about it is, even during now COVID times, you can start the process while you are here. You can authorize your lawyer to complete the process on your behalf. You can apply for the residency permit, and all you'll have to do is go there once for biometric once your application is approved. Right? So Dr. Ricardo will be talking more about this process in detail. So friends, we have seen why European Union, why Portugal, how to get Portugal Golden Visa now, and we have seen that the key requirement for getting the Portugal Golden Visa is investments. So now let us look at what are the various investment options available to you to get the Golden Visa. Right. So the first option is you can invest in a property. So here you can invest 500,000 euros, which is roughly about 4.5 crores in any property of your choice. You can buy a 2-bedroom, apartment in the prime area of Lisbon, like Príncipe Real, which is like Malabar Hill of Mumbai, or you can choose to buy a spacious 3-bedroom apartment on the beach front, or you can buy a villa somewhere in a historic town. It's up to you. You can select any property for investment, and the property is registered in your name. You can rent it out and earn rental income. And this property, you can buy a ready property as well as under construction property. So there are plenty of options available over here. The next option is, if you're looking at investing lesser amount, then you can invest 350,000 euros, which is little over 3 crores. This can be invested in a property or a fund. However, the property which you are going to invest in this case has to be a property which is going for renovation or rehabilitation, what we commonly call over here as redevelopment. So this has to be an old property which is more than 30 years old. So friends, as you know, Portugal is a very old country. It has a long history and it has a lot of old heritage structures and buildings. And the government over there is encouraging people to come forward and renovate this building by maintaining their heritage structure. Right? So these are the kind of properties in which you can invest 350,000 euros and get Golden Visa. For those of you who are looking at investing in financial instruments, who are more comfortable investing in financial instruments, you can also invest in venture capital investment funds. Mind you, these are not mutual funds. These are different. These are venture capital funds. So these are more suitable more for sophisticated high net worth investors. You can invest 350,000 in one of the funds. We'll talk more about that in a little later. The other option is for those of you who want to invest even lesser amount, there is an option of investing 280,000 euros. Now this again has to be only in a property which is more than 30 years old and going for rehabilitation. The difference between this and the earlier option of 350 is this property has to be outside the urban area. So this will be somewhere located in an interior, in a remote location. So generally, we would not advise people to invest in this kind of property because it is not easy to let out properties in rural areas. And also there is not much liquidity. You will not be able to sell off these properties very easily. However, we have some options under 280 category where you can easily invest as well as exit. We'll talk about that in the later part of the presentation. So friends, let's talk about, like you would have seen, most of the investment is in real estate or real estate related companies, funds. So let's talk briefly about the Portuguese real estate market. The Portugal real estate market has seen an upswing in the last 5 to 6 years. The property rates have been going up in double digits, which is very high when you look at Europe. And even now during COVID times, because of the increasing demand for Golden Visa from foreigners, especially Chinese and American investors, the demand for property is going up and so is the price. You can see in this chart over here, we have charted the numbers for 2 major cities of Portugal. The yellow line over here represents the number of transactions, number of sales in Portugal over a period of time and what is the average price. And the red line over here represents Porto, which is the other major city. These are the 2 main cities which are very popular with investors at this point of time. Right, now let's look at real estate investment opportunities in Lisbon. At this point of time, I would like to mention that this amounts and the investments that we mentioned is applicable only till the end of this year. That is up to 31st December 2021. From 1st January 2022, the rules are changing. There are certain restrictions on investment. Certain investment amounts are going up. And for instance, after January, you will not be able to invest in properties which are located in the main cities like Porto and Lisbon. You will have to invest only in the interior part of the city. Also, from 1st January 22, the investment amount for venture capital fund is going up to 500,000 from the current 350,000. So for those of you who are keenly looking at this opportunity, you need to act fast. You have another 7 months to complete this process. Now let's look at Lisbon. Lisbon is the capital city, like we said. It is an international hub. It has a good mixture of ancient, old properties and modern living. So let's look at some of the properties. This is one of the properties which is available in Lisbon, which is in 350,000 category. Again, I would like to say that there are lots of other properties available. What we are showcasing over here is just a sample for you to understand what is the kind of properties available. We have hundreds of other properties available with our partners, and you can approach us if you want to have a look at them. And for right now, we are just sharing with you a sample. You can see that this is a property called Santa Catarina Unique. It is located in the traditional area of São Bento in Lisbon. And here you have an option of buying from studio, 1-bedroom apartment and 2-bedroom apartment. So you can see over here that this is a project. It's a 30-year. It qualifies for investment of 350,000 euros. It is an old building which is going for redevelopment. And let's look at the property. You can see this is the exterior of the property. You can see that they have maintained the heritage structure of the property and just given it a facelift. However, if you look at the inside of the property, you can see that it is completely modernized. So you are living in a modern house, but which has a heritage or an ancient touch to it. And most of the properties also have very high ceiling. These are the old properties built in the old Portuguese architecture style, and they have huge ceilings. So you can see that it has very plush interior like any other modern apartment in any big city. Let's look at Porto. Porto, like we discussed earlier, is the second most popular city for investments by foreigners. It is also a major tourist destination. So here we have a beautiful heritage building. You can see this building over here. This is more than 100 years old building, which is going for redevelopment. And you have 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom apartments over here with high ceilings, balconies, and terraces. Again, this property qualifies for an investment of 350,000 for the Golden Visa. So you can look from here. Again, it is a completely modern apartment from inside. Right. Now, Portugal is, of course, known for its beautiful beaches, and many of our clients have come back to us asking for beachfront or sea view properties. So here you can see this is one of the beautiful properties with huge balcony overlooking the Atlantic Ocean and very close from the beach. This property is called Sesimbra Cliffs. It is just like the name suggests, this property is located on a hill and it is overlooking the Atlantic Ocean. It is very close from the Lisbon airport. It's about just 40 odd kilometers, less than an hour's drive. You have apartments ranging from studios to 3-bedroom apartments over here. The minimum investment size over here is 500,000 euros for Golden Visa. So you need to do an investment of 500,000 euros. However, the apartment starts at a price of 175,000 euros. So you can get a studio for 175,000, a 1-bedroom apartment for about 300,000, a 3-bedroom apartment for 450,000, and so on. So you can combine, you can buy a multiple units over here, maybe 2 1-bedroom apartments or a 1 3-bedroom apartment and a studio to meet the minimum requirement of 500,000. So you can see the interiors over here, very modern, very spacious. You have large windows with which will give you fantastic view of the ocean. Now, some of you may not be keen on owning a property because once you own a property, you have to manage it, you have to let it out on rent, and you also need to pay property tax and take care of it. So if you want to have an option of having invested in a property but not having the hassle of managing it yourself and paying the property tax, then you can look at a hotel property like this one. This is a Marriott hotel coming up in Porto, where the investment amount is 350,000. You need to invest 350,000 and you will get a share in this company which is managing the building the property. And this is a beautiful hotel. Like we have seen earlier, Porto is a major tourist destination and it does not have any convention center. So this is the first luxury hotel with a convention center coming up in Porto. The good thing about this investment is that without any hassles, without paying any property tax, without paying any maintenance, etc., you will get a return, a short return of 3% every year from the property developer. And also there is a buyback. You have an assured liquidity. You can return after you have completed your residency period and secured your citizenship. You can surrender your investment and get your principal amount back. Moreover, as a bonus, you also get to stay for 7 nights in Portugal every year. Like we had seen earlier, in order to maintain your residency condition, you need to stay in Portugal for at least 7 days every year. So during those 7 days, you can stay in this property, right? So now let's look at investment in venture capital investment fund. Here again, the investment amount is 350,000. Well, some of you would be comfortable investing in financial instruments because the main advantage of investing in a fund is that it is very convenient. It is very easy. You don't need to go to Portugal and have a look at the property or sign the property deed. You can do the investment while you are here in India itself. Also, since you are not owning a property, you don't have to pay any property tax. So it's a low cost option. The incidental costs are also very low. And these funds are managed by Portuguese Securities Commission. So let's look at, while there are hundreds of funds, such funds available in Portugal, we have selected one of the funds which is being managed by professional fund managers outside Portugal. So we have a students accommodation fund. This fund is essentially going to invest in student accommodation properties in Portugal as well as Spain. So there is a huge demand for students accommodation. Like we had seen earlier, countries like Portugal and Spain are now emerging as education destination. And right now the market is very unorganized. There are no organized student accommodation properties available in both these countries. So students accommodation is a concept which has really taken off. It was started in UK about 20 years back. At that point of time, the concept was very new. People who invested in it had got, returns in double digits. However, now the market in UK has matured, but when it comes to countries like Portugal and Spain, it is just taking off. This concept is such taking off. So there is a good opportunity for you to get into this at an early stage. So we have the student accommodation fund, which is being managed by professional fund managers out of Hong Kong. So this is not a Portuguese fund. This is a fund managed out from Hong Kong. And this fund managers have extensive experience of managing student accommodation properties in UK for over 20 years, right? The investment amount over here is again 350,000. The life of the fund is 6 years and the targeted return is about 8 to 10%. So those of you who would like to reduce their cost, not have any hassles of managing property and at the same time enjoy higher return, this could be a good option for you. So we are going to have another seminar dedicated to this particular fund in in the next month, and you can contact us for that. Yes, the other option is under 280,000 category. For some of you who do not want to invest, huge amount, who want to invest only limited amount, then this could be an option. Like we discussed earlier, if you invest directly in such properties, then it becomes difficult to lease out, rent out those properties, and also liquidity is an issue. So here we have a hotel property. It's an Hilton property, a hotel, which is coming up in a town, historic town of Evora. It has 142 rooms, and it's a luxury property with rooftop garden and swimming pool. So like we mentioned earlier, it is near the World Heritage Site of Evora. The investment amount over here is 280,000. And you have assured liquidity. There is no assured return. You don't get any return over here, unlike the earlier hotel property we saw where you get 3% return. Here you only get a buyback after 6 years. So once you have got your Portuguese, permanent residency and then citizenship, you can surrender your investment and get your principal amount back. And like the earlier hotel property over here too, you get 7 nights of free stay. So friends, we have seen the various investment options. We have seen why Portugal Golden Visa and why European Union citizenship. I would now like to invite Dr. Ricardo Loro, who is a senior lawyer from the firm MEFR. Dr. Ricardo has rich experience in handling not only immigration law, also real estate as well as corporate law. He has handled many cases of golden visa from all over the world. And the good thing is he has also handled Indian clients and is aware about their circumstances, right? So I would now request Dr. Ricardo to take over the presentation and explain to us the process for getting the golden visa. Thank you.
Thank you, Paresh, for those kind words. Good afternoon to everyone. Hope everybody is doing fine. We'll start with mention that Paresh did, that indeed here in Portugal, we have already 20% of the population with the first doses of the vaccine, which means that given the current condition, most likely in October, 70% of the population will have both doses of the vaccine, which will indeed make Portugal a much better and safe place to visit, despite we've being the third most safest country in the world to visit during this COVID time, which is hopefully coming to an end, but that I know it's not going well at this moment in India. So my best wishes to everyone there. So the Golden Visa program has started in 2012 in Portugal, and it has now given main applicants little less than 10,000 residency permits. Of course, you have to multiply this number by the family members, but this is just to give you an idea that out of this more than 90% has been done by purchasing a property, has been done by investing in real estate and not in any of the other options. So real estate is one of the main, if not the main investments that people are doing for Golden Visa, especially the 500,000 option, and now since 2015 the rehabilitation option, which takes you to buying a property that's more than 30 years old and refurbishing it, which means that your investment between the purchase of the property and the renovation of the property is 350,000. So you can see in the graphic, in the slide, in your monitor, in your screen, you can see the path of the Golden Visa. So in order for us to start the Golden Visa, we have to make the investment, meaning buying the property or the investment fund, if that's your intention. And then of course, we have 2 renewals for the Golden Visa, one at year 2, one at year 4. And at year 5, you can have the option to ask for the permanent residency and the citizenship of Portugal. In order to have that option, you must have the Golden Visa renewals. To get that Golden Visa renewals, you need to maintain your investment and you need to spend 40 days in Portugal in each period of 2 years, which means if you want to put it in year terms, 7 days per year. But if you don't want to come 1 year to Portugal, you can come 14 days the next year. But it's a very minimum staying requirement, which makes you not a tax resident in Portugal. Means that you will become a tax resident, or you will continue to be a tax resident in India, and you will not become a tax resident in Portugal, which means that you will only pay your taxes over the income that you have in Portugal. If it is over a property or if it is other type of income, it's only that you will pay, not whatever you earn worldwide. That's for India or for whichever country you are a tax resident. So most importantly, and because Paresh has done already a comprehensive job in explaining most of the items of the Golden Visa, most importantly for you, it's important for you to know that we can do all this process at a distance. Meaning that if you don't want to come, even to choose the property, you can choose by virtual visits, or if not, you just come and visit the property and go back. We can handle everything from you, in the sense that as long as you provide us with the power of attorney, we can obtain your Portuguese tax number, which are mandatory for you to buy the property. But again, you will have tax numbers as non-residents, okay, non-tax residents, okay. We will have to open your bank account in Portugal, which is also mandatory by law. And then we will complete the investment on your behalf in Portugal, meaning that we can sign the promissory contract on your behalf, and we can sign the final title deed purchase contract in your behalf and register the property in your name. Okay? While you are at home, you can collect the necessary documents, which are usually police clearances, birth certificates, and marriage certificates, in order for them to be authenticated there. Since India is in the Hague Convention, it's now easier to get an apostille and then send those documents for us here so that we can start online your subscription and start the process and wait for the biometric appointment. And it is only at that moment where there is the biometric appointment, which is where you take your fingerprints and your picture, that you need to be present in Portugal, not before that. Okay, so it is very easy to do this process, and we can provide you with full assistance in order to do that. Okay, as I said earlier in my presentation, most likely at the end of the year, or closer to the end of the year, like in October, maybe September, it's really very, very safe to be in Portugal. It already is. The number of cases in the country are 600 a day. So it already is very, very safe to be in Portugal. And it is important for you to decide if you want to make your investment, because the rules will change from January 1st, 2022, just regarding the investment, which means that those of you who want to invest in Lisbon cannot do it in terms of residential properties. And those of you who want to invest in a fund will have to start paying 500,000 euros instead of 350,000 euros. So what are the next steps? The next steps is, of course, you decide what route do you want to go regarding investment. Into a low density area if you want to invest in a 280 property. Okay, then of course start preparing and compiling the personal documentation, obtaining your Portuguese tax number and opening your Portuguese bank account. This is mandatory. Before that, signing a power of attorney on our behalf, and then transferring the amount of investment to your Portuguese bank account, making such investment, and then giving us the legalized documents that are referred so that we can start your application. From the moment that we start your application, that we submit the file to immigration, your process is considered to the end of the year. It's okay as long as we submit it before the end of the year. So even if the rules, as they will change in 2022, you will be safe in the sense that your investment will be considered valid because your file was submitted before the rules are changed. Okay, so this is very important. At this moment, metric schedules are long, so I don't imagine we next month because there is a backlog. Things stopped during this year of pandemic, but probably you have biometrics at the end of the year or the beginning of next year. It's not a problem. It's just the way that it is. What it is important is for you to start, for us to start the application on your behalf before the end of the year. Preferably, I wouldn't like to risk it. I would like to start, So the Golden Visa, as you saw, are cards of 2 years validity each, which will allow you to travel through the Schengen area. It will allow you to live, work, study, or just visit Portugal. That is up to you, okay? They will be considered valid and will continue to be valid for as long as you have your investment and as long as you comply with the 14 days requirements in Portugal, okay? This is a card that is valid for you and for your family. So children are allowed in, wife is allowed in, father and mother, if they're above 65, are allowed in the file. Mother-in-law and father-in-law, if they are also above 65, they can also be considered, okay? Regarding the children, if they are underage, there is no other discussion. If they are 18 or more, they will need to be single and studying, I mean full-time students, for the entire process, for the entire 5 years of Golden Visa. Let me just try to get you to the next slide. Okay, so I have already discussed this issue with the Golden Visa. I will repeat it. From January 1st, 2022, residential properties will no longer be eligible in the main cities. They will only be eligible in certain areas of the country, more to the inside and smaller areas in most. So if you are looking into investing in one of the big cities in residential, it is now the time until the end of 2021. Golden Visa program will continue unchanged with regards to the other aspects, except this investment issue, okay? I will repeat also, it is fundamental that we start the process before the end of the year, as soon as possible, in order for it to apply to you, if it is your intention to buy in Lisbon or in Porto or any other of the major areas. And this is it. This is the end of our presentation. We have offices all over Portugal. We have 7 offices at this moment. We can provide you with full coverage and full service. And I will pass again to Paresh to continue.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Ricardo, for taking us through that process. So, friends, you have seen, about the Portugal Golden Visa.
Let us help you achieve your dream. We at Acquest specialize in permanent residency and citizenship by investment programs being offered by governments of American and European countries. Our team of professionals is here to help you complete your migration journey and land safely at your chosen destination. Acquest, your trusted immigration advisor.